All right, so now we're going to solve inequalities with variables on both sides. Once again, very similar to solving equations with variables on both sides. This is the one place where you're going to end up using all of the steps in the solving equations. Um, what was I going to say? Solving equations. Flowchart. Okay, so first things first, you want to combine your like terms. And when we talk about combining like terms, you're talking about adding or subtracting. You're going to combine your variables. And I forgot. I don't know why it's written twice. Sorry. On one side of the inequality, you're going to combine your constants on the other. Okay. Solve the inequality. And explain when it's necessary to flip the inequality. When is it necessary to do that? When you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay. So it says here, practice solving the inequalities in the table below. In step one, move the variables to the same side of the inequality. And in step two, move the constants to the opposite side, then find the solution. Okay. So just like we are already used to, when step one, it says move the variables. So you want to go from small to large. And in this case, small to large would mean to move the 18. And make sure you line it up under the other x. You don't want to accidentally combine it with that 9. So 21 minus 18 is 3x. Bring down the 9. Make sure you don't forget that there's a minus. And bring down the 12. I'm going to actually scoot it in. Okay. From there, now it says move the constants to the opposite side. So once you have just one variable in the whole equation and the whole inequality, it becomes a two-step inequality, two-step equation, whatever. Okay. So from there, we go with the constant, the number without the variable, which is our 9. So we're going to add the 9, bring down the 3x, and 12 plus 9 is 21. Last step is to solve by dividing. Now, the number that we are moving over is a positive number. So in this case, in this example, we will not flip the inequality, but 21 divided by 3, 7. And you have your solution. Okay. Let's try the next one. We start off by moving our variable. There is no parentheses, so we don't have to distribute. There's not too many terms on any side. There's only 2 terms on each side of the inequality, so that's fine. So we're gonna go small to large. Technically, negative 9x is smaller than negative 5, but it's just easier to move the smallest number. So we're going to add the 5x. Bring down the 14. Negative 9 plus 5. Remember, those of you that struggle with those negatives, adding, subtracting integers, please, please, please put that into the calculator. From there, the constant is the 2, so we're going to subtract it. 14 minus 2 is 12. And last step is to divide. Because we are dividing, remember we have to be on high alert for those negatives, and we are moving a negative number. We're dividing by a negative number, so that tells us that we need to flip the symbol. X is still on the right side of the inequality, and we go from greater to less. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Now, because our answers need to be written with the variable in the front, we're actually going to flip it again. So our answer is x is greater than -3. Okay. Next one. Small to large between a negative and a positive. Obviously, the negative one is the smallest one. Bring down the 25. 3 plus 7 is 10. Our constant is 50, so we subtract the 50. Plus changes to minus. 25 minus 50. Don't rush it. Make sure you are typing it in the calculator if you need to. Gives us -25. I guarantee you some of you are actually going to write a positive 25. So be careful. And then we divide by 10. We're dividing, but it is a positive number, so no need to flip the symbol. -25 divided by 10 gives us -2.5. But because our answer is written with the variable in the back, make sure you move that variable back to the front. So our answer is greater than or equal to -2.5. Always, always solve straight down. All right. And looks like I don't know how to spell solve. Solve the following inequalities. Be sure to show your work. Okay. Now we're getting into the multi-step with variables on both sides. So let's get that done. Here we go. First things first, we see parentheses. Parentheses tell us to distribute. -6x. 2 times 1 is 2. Bring everything else down. Don't forget that negative. I almost did. Okay. Combine your like terms. But we have 2 terms on each side of the inequality, so there's not too many terms. Now we can go from our small to our large. So we're just going to add the 5x. -6 plus 5x will give us -1x plus 2. Bring down and scoot the 14 in. Our constant goes from a plus to a -2. Bring down and scoot in the -1x. 14 minus 2, 12. Last step is to divide. What do we notice? We are dividing by a negative number. Since we're dividing by a negative number, we flip. So we got our inequality goes from less than to greater than -12. Just giving y'all some time to catch up. All right, next one. We have parentheses. When we have parentheses, we distribute. -1 times -41, 2 negatives make a positive. Now we move small letter to large letter. Always start with the letters first. Please always start with the letters first. It's more confusing when you try to start with the constants. I'm not saying you cannot start with the constants, but it will mess you up. Okay. 9 plus 1 is 10. 19 is positive, so plus changes to a minus. Bring down your 10x. 41 minus, oops, what is that? 41 minus 19 gives us 22. And the last step is to divide. We're dividing by a positive number, so no need to make any kind of changes. 22 divided by 10 is 2.2. Okay. And last one on this page before we move to the back. We see parentheses, but there's actually parentheses on both sides. So we're going to be distributing twice. You do not distribute across the inequality. You can't take this -4 and distribute over here. Okay. So each one has its own number to distribute. -4 times 3, -12, -4 times 3 again, -12, but this one has an x. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times -1, -6x. Small to large, we're going to add the 6x. So we get -12. -12 plus 6 is -6x. And bring down my 24. My constant's -12. A minus changes to a plus. Bring down -6x. 24 plus 12, 36. Last step is to divide, but we are dividing by a negative number. So what do? We flip. So x is less than -6. Hopefully you guys are getting the hang of doing all of these big equations. Oh, yay. Now they think we need practice with some decimals. Fun. All right, there's no parentheses. Each side only has 2 terms, so we're going to start off with small to large. The smaller one is my 29.7x. $55.2 minus 29.7 will give us 25.5x. Bring down the minus 75. On this side, we're going to bring down 52.5. Bring it in closer. Our constant is going to be that 75, so we're going to add it. Complete it, clean it up. And we get 127.5. Last step, divide. We are dividing by a positive number. There is no need to make any adjustments. So x is greater than 5. Number 5. Start with distributing. Since we're not doing anything with this 22 out front, go ahead and bring that down. -3 times 3, -9x, -3 times 1, -3. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 here in front of that when I bring it down. That way I don't forget. It still exists, right? We do have too many terms on the left side. If it's more than 2, it's too many. So we got to combine something. Circle, box, circle. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down my -9x. 22 minus 3 gives us a positive 19. Okay. Our next step is going to be to go small to large. So we're going to add 1x. -9 plus 1 gives us a -8. You can subtract, plus changes to minus here. So minus 19. Probably need to extend this a little. Okay, 45 minus 19. 26. And the last step is 2. divide. Since we are dividing by a negative number, we flip it. So greater than equal to becomes less than or equal to. Now, I don't know what 26 divided by negative 8 is myself. So when I type that in, I get negative 3.25. Negative 3.25. Number 6, last one on this row. First step is to distribute. Okay. So 3 over 7 times negative 21 will give us negative 9. And then 3 over 7 times 14 gives us a positive 6x. All right. One of our sides has too many terms, so we have to combine two boxes. Let me go ahead and bring this side down. 18 plus 1 is just 19. Then we go from small to large. So our smaller variable is 6 plus changes 2 minus. Bring down the negative 9. 19 minus 6 will give us 13x. Now we're down to 2 steps. So our constant is 10.5, positive 10.5 changes to minus. You're adding two negatives, so you add and keep. 19.5, bring down the 13x. And the last step is to divide. We are dividing by a positive number, so no need to flip, but make sure you're solving straight down. If x is on the right side, x needs to stay on the right side. Now our inequality was less than, so don't flip. Negative 19.5 divided by 13 gives us negative 1.5. And because our answer is written with the variable in the back, don't forget, you need to flip it. Alligator's eating the X over here, so alligator needs to eat the X in your final answer. Okay, clear that out. Now, when it comes to word problems, I'm going to go ahead and give you the list of all of the words that you would see typically for greater, greater than, equal to, less than, or less than or equal to. I think writing the inequality for a from a word problem is actually easier than writing an equation, just because you're able to think your way through it. You're able to think your way through which inequality needs to be used. And I'll tell you what, I'll show you what that means in a little bit. So anyway, starting with number 7. Jan needs to buy a backpack and several folders for school. If she shops at Smart Supply, the backpack will cost $45 and the folders will cost 45 cents each. If she shops at the Supply Guys, the backpack will cost $50.40 and the folders will cost 15 cents each. Write an inequality, find the number of folders Jan would need to buy in order for the Supply Guys to be cheaper, to be the cheaper option. Well, let's think about it. Remember, when we're setting up any equation or any inequality, it helps to set it up in words first. Okay, so we're comparing the supply guys. Yeah, we're comparing the supply guys. Oops. To what? To smart supply. Comparing supply guys and smart supply. So actually, because this is the first sentence, I'm going to write that one first. We're comparing smart supply will shoot there. Okay. Smart supply to supply guys. Now we want this option to be cheaper. So this side has to be the side that needs to be what? Less. Okay. So at Smart Supply, we can buy a backpack for $45, but our folders are going to be not 50, 45 cents each. So that would be the number that is attached to our variable, that's attached to our X. Anytime you see those words, each, per, every. Okay. And then at the supply guys, we're going to buy a backpack for $50.40, which is more, but the folders are more affordable. They're 15 cents each. Okay. So we need to find the number of folders that she would need to buy, that she can buy at the supply guys, and for that to still be the cheaper option. Starting with small to large. So minus 0.15. Bring down the 45. 45 minus 15, that'll give us what, 30 cents? Okay. After that, we go from a multi-step to a two-step equation. So start with your constant. Our constant is positive, so plus changes to minus. Remember that constant is the one that is not attached to the letter, not attached to the variable. 50 minus 45 is 5.40. Okay, and the last step is to divide. 9 out of 10 times. Last step is going to be to divide. We're dividing by a positive number, so that does not that symbol does not flip, but 5.40 divided by 0.30, we get 18. So our solution is x is greater than 18. But what does it mean in this context? In words, what does it mean? Well, x represents the number of what? Folders. And if the symbol is greater than, our folders need to be greater. We can say we need to have more. We need to purchase above, right? Any of those words, 18. So Jan would need to buy more than 18 folders. She needs to buy quite a few folders. She needs to buy more than 18 folders in order for supply guys to be cheaper than Smart Supply. So if you don't need 18 folders, I would stick to shopping at Smart Supply, in other words. Okay. Next word problem. Luna opened an account with $50 and plans to deposit $15 each week. On the same day, Mason opened an account. So what are we doing? We're comparing Luna with Mason. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Okay, so Mason opened an account with $10, plans to deposit $25 each week. Each is that key word. Write and solve an inequality to represent the number of weeks. Luna's account balance will be greater than. This one, they pretty much gave it to you. You use the word greater. Greater than or equal. Very important to keep reading, right? Or equal to Mason. Which reminds me, I need to fix something. I'll fix it a little bit. All right. So Luna, she opens her account with $50, but she's going to deposit. What does it mean to deposit? Deposit means to put money into the bank. So we're going to be adding money into the bank. Mason started his account with $10, but he's also going to deposit 25 each week. So X represents our weeks in this case, in this scenario. Okay. Starting off with small to large letter. So we're going to subtract the 15x. Bring down your 50. 25 minus 15 is 10. Now, which one of these two tens is the constant? The constant is always going to be the one without the letter. Okay, now that is a positive number, so a plus changes to a minus. Okay, 50 minus 10 is 40. And the last step is to divide by 10. Remember to solve straight down. We're dividing by a positive number, so no need to flip the symbol. And 40 divided by 10 is 4. But because our variable is in the back, we now flip it back over, and we get x is less than or equal to 4 as our solution. So what does this mean? We said that x represented weeks. The amount of weeks needs to be less than or equal to 4. It says, solve the inequality to represent the number of weeks. Luna's account balance will be greater than Mason. So Luna's account balance will be greater than Mason as long as it's 4 or less. Luna will have more money, greater, right? More money than Mason for 4 or less weeks. It means once she hits that 5th week, Mason will now have more money than Luna. Okay, so it's time for you guys to practice this on your own, and you will be having a quiz the day after this lesson on inequalities.